The time of the earthquake was 4:53 p.m. on January 12, 2010. So we weren't really in the hotel for more than 5 minutes before we started walking across the lobby floor, crossed in front of the reception desk, and it was that time that we felt the rumbling. And I recall having my briefcase in my right hand, just turning and looking back and seeing on one of the pillars a planter just shaking, and then it looked as if the whole floor was coming up from behind us. Someone said, "What is it?" And I remember saying, "It's an earthquake." Unfortunately, some of us were in the right place and some of us were in the wrong place. But it certainly, going through that experience, certainly gave me a sense of connection with Haiti that I only have in a few other places where I've lived for a long time. God has a purpose for everyone. We can't say that we were chosen to be here and they were not. I don't believe that. What I do believe is that I received a gift of life that other people weren't fortunate enough to have, and all I have to do with that is simply to use that gift as God calls me to use it. And I have that sense that if the people of Haiti feel that I can make that contribution, then I feel committed to continue to make that contribution here. UMCOR was involved right from the beginning, of course, bringing in some immediate relief to some places, and with food and water and ways to purify water. And then we took on the job of building schools in some of the resettlement camps, one called Camp Gulley, another called Tabarisa, and altogether, think about 20 classrooms that would hold 50 students each.
Manger à son frère.
UMCOR is also, in its office here, has been involved in a lot of training of individuals to do construction at better quality, and we've also been involved with the Methodist Church. There were 20 churches, 20 schools, and a couple of clinics that were either damaged or totally destroyed during the earthquake. And we've rebuilt those with the church. There were 8 or 9 churches that had to be totally rebuilt, and also schools. And those have been completed. And there are other projects that UMCOR has funded to do construction of work in neighborhoods and bring infrastructure back to the neighborhoods, working with some settlement communities to integrate them into the communities that were there. So UMCOR's been very active throughout, and of course, probably people have heard it, and it seems like a cliche now, but I remember Bishop O saying when he came with other bishops for a visit, and he said, "Well, we may not have been the very first ones here, but we are usually the last ones to leave." One of the key partnerships that was formed that was unique was the partnership between UMCOR and Volunteers in Mission. From May of 2010 until October of 2013, more than 450 teams of 10 people each, or about 4,500 people, came and served, worked alongside. So that kind of partnership was our two organizations partnering, but it was all with the Methodist Church of Haiti. But then also individuals being able to come and to stand side by side, to work side by side, bring resources to help to buy materials, to rebuild, but also to hire Haitians who would work side by side. This is a very special place that was created after the earthquake and after the experience of Sam Dixon, Clint Reb, and I and other colleagues being trapped at the Montana Hotel. This garden was made as a memorial to that event and the people who lost their lives. For me, the greatest success is maintaining our partnership accomplishing the task that the church set out as their priority with them. And through that commitment and through that support, they realize that when we talk about development and ask the pastors of the church, the leaders of the church to ask people for a commitment, that they need to become more engaged in doing that. And so building those relationships, I think, is probably the greatest thing that we've achieved over this 5 years, to move into a more development mode. And that requires people to think differently and to respond differently. The one is, it's urgent, it's a hurry, you have to do it. The other is requiring more thought, more planning, more commitment, and mobilizing local resources as well as bringing resources from the outside. And that's a lesson that we're working together to learn. And that's one of the things that keeps me here, because I believe that's the message of development that is consistent with our own faith in terms of the recognition of the dignity of all persons, that God has created all of us, that we are equal, and that we all should have an equal opportunity to realize what God has called us to do and to be. And so that's something that we as a church we don't walk away from, because it is our mission. It's our mission to be in God's mission here.